Hi students, this lecture will cover part 3, the fire sermon of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so you'll notice that the title is the fire sermon. I put a question fire because really I'd call it more of like the bland, dull, no passion sermon or the end of days sermon, which it's funny because when you think about fire, you think of passion, you think of heat, but really this is all about the dullness of life. That's really the theme here. So let's kind of go through it, and of course, there's way more to it than I'm gonna say, but like I just want to get you guys started as far as like dissecting it. But the first here is really about this departure of enjoyment and passion and magic, right? So it talks about the fact that the nymphs are departed, the sweet Thames runs softly till I end my song. The river bears no empty bottles, sandwich papers, silk handkerchiefs, cardboard boxes, cigarette ends, or other testimony of summer nights. The nymphs are departed. So life is literally stopped, right? There's no enjoyment, there's no pleasure, the magic is gone. And you can really relate this to what's going on with this pandemic right now, because if you look around in everyday life, really people are, they've got masks on. We're really afraid of social interaction, right? It's like nightlife has stopped. The world has basically like put on pause. It's exactly what they were going through during this time. I mean, people, again, it was the Spanish flu. So people were terrified to go out. People were afraid to be out. It wasn't allowed. So there's really a lot that you can connect with here. And then we go on, the departed have left no addresses. The dead, there's no memory of them, right? They're just departed, they're gone. It's like time has stopped. The river Thames runs softly till I end my song. Almost like I don't know, like a swan song, like the end of songs. It's a famous river in London, obviously. It's full of the past, full of ghosts. And really here I wonder if it's the hell or the underworld that they're talking about. That the river that stood for so much life and history has now become a hell, a kind of underworld. And then at the bottom we have this really like eerie image, but at my back in a cold blast I hear the rattle of the bones and chuckles spread from ear to ear, right? So everything's dead except this clatter of bones and an image of a chuckle. I mean, it's just really grim, really an image of fear and death and just carnage, right? It's really bleak. Um, and then there's this creeping rat, right, which is association with diseases, but also vermin. So illness, vermin, and then fishing in the dull canal, right? It's empty. It's unexciting. It's like life at the moment. It's just kind of unfulfilled, right? And again, these images of death, pretty gnarly and repetitive, right? These images are really, really quite stark and horrifying. But at the end here, you've got this mother and daughter cleansing their feet in soda water, right? It's kind of like spiritual cleansing, this trying to bring this magic back to life. So there's an attempt, right, to kind of cleanse oneself. Again, I said before that people really thought they were being punished by God here during this time. And then there's this twit, 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 jug, jug, jug. Again, harking Shakespeare, no art, right? Everything is so really forced. Nothing is natural. Everything is kind of just stark and dull. The Unreal City, again, London. And then there's this repetition of the word the violet hour, which could, violent. Also just the image of violet, something about it's just kind of frightening. It's kind of dark. And I love this whole, the human engine waits, like human engine, human as machine, like again, the Industrial Revolution. It could be hearkening to that. And then I, Tiresias, through blind throbbing between two lives. So Tiresias is a prophet who was punished and made blind and turned into an older woman. He's also the one that kind of prophesies to Oedipus Rex's father about what his son would do, which is why he ended up sending his son away. So that whole, like, he's pretty much the reason why the Oedipus tragedy started. And kind of it was like an unfulfilled prophecy that became fulfilled. It's, again, a tragedy about hubris. We'll talk about this later. But anyway, so there's this whole section. And then there's this really interesting interaction between what we assume might be a prostitute and her lover. it's interesting though. There's like a whole situation that goes on. The meal is ended. She's bored and tired. Endeavors to exchange her in caresses, which still are unreproved, if undesired. Flushed and decided, he assaults at once. So there's this, I don't know, assault, rape. But it's interesting because she, exploring hands encounter no defense. His vanity requires no response and makes a welcome of indifference. There's this lack of passion, right? Like this act, which should be based upon lust and like passion, is just this like lack of passion. It's just an act, right? And for her especially, like she's just really not into it. This woman. And then she says, she turns and looks a moment in the glass, hardly aware of her departed lover. Her brain allows one half-formed thought to pass. Well, now that's done. I'm glad it's over. Did you notice the rhyme scheme here, by the way, too? It's very Shakespearean. But again, it's forced intimacy, no passion, no romance, right? When lovely woman stoops to folly and paces about a room again alone, she smooths her hair with automatic hand and puts a record on the gramophone. I love this. She smooths her hair with an automatic hand, right? Automatic, no passion, no love, just this repetition, this meaningless repetition. Again, life, no fire. It's just dullness. And then this idea that all of society is changed and really just doom all around. And then there's this really interesting little song, why lay, why lay, la, right? Like this loss of innocence, this kind of song that's unheard, which then later goes into burning, burning, burning. Oh Lord, thou pluckest me out. Oh Lord, thou pluckest burning. Basically just romance is dead. Life is dead. Passion's gone. Take me away from this fire. Get me out of purgatory, essentially. Like I'm begging to just be released from this torture. So yeah. Hopefully that helped you understand part 3 a little bit better. I'll release other lectures for the other parts of the poem as well. Thanks.